race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report for Thursday, September 24th, show number 149. Unmuting Ron Miller.
Woohoo!
And unmuting Jerry. I got to get over to there. Jerry Keys, Ron Miller, Scott Hammer with you for this edition of the Hammer Down Racing Report. Lots to get to tonight. We're going to talk some go-kart racing and some dirt late model racing and making the transition from dirt late model racing to go-kart racing with Steve Rowe. And then a little bit later on tonight, we'll have a little bit of a discussion of some incidents that may or may not have occurred last weekend in the Bomber Spectacular at Oakshade Raceway. And also coming up, I got some big news actually about Oakshade Raceway. Some added money in an event Saturday night, not an extra race, just extra things Saturday night. Plus all the latest racing news, a lot going on in Fremont as well. And there's just a lot to cover. A lot of lots going on, like deer over at Ron's that the dogs are barking at, which is okay. I have my windows open, and there was a dog barking earlier, and I was a little worried about that, but I think we're all right. So we're
Get him.
Yeah, coming at you live on Facebook. Also, YouTube Live. You can make sure to follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report. Follow us on Facebook, obviously, or listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform. iHeartRadio is the preferred choice since they do a lot for us, provide us with some equipment and stuff here so we can continue to do this. And it sounds like we may be starting to go back into the office maybe in October. I heard a room, nothing official yet. So I don't know what that means for studio use yet. But in the meantime, we'll make this work. So
gets better every week, Scott.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, the Toledo City Paper Best of deal is going on for podcast media. They have all kinds of different categories. We want to get nominated for the podcast part. So we'll remind you at the end of the show so you don't have to close out if you're watching us on Facebook right now. But we have a post pinned on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Hammerdown Racing Report, with a link to the Toledo City Paper where you can go and go ahead and nominate whatever. If you don't want to nominate us, that's fine.
Just before we went on the air, Kathy Miller actually nominated us. I was very proud of her.
Excellent. Those nominations will be going up until October 18th. If you already nominated us, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Tell your friends to nominate us. They're not going to get anything, but thanks.
I'm pretty sure my sister Barb Ganser hasn't nominated us yet.
Oh, she needs to do that. And even if she's from Erie, Pennsylvania, as indicated there in the comments, that's okay. Toledo City doesn't care. So we're worldwide, but we're the best in Toledo. Maybe not the best in Cleveland. I don't know.
But we're the best we've got here.
It's the best you're going to get. It doesn't get better than this. That's all there is. The voting starts on that on November 1st. So should we make it into I think it's the top 5 or 6 nominees are up for that, then the voting starts, and then we'll be bugging you to vote every single day. You can only nominate us once, but the voting is an every single day thing. So Dave does it every day. Thanks. Dave was a big help last night, too, lining up tonight's guests, because I was working on something else, and that kind of ran into a roadblock. Before we get to Steve Rowe coming up here in about 10 minutes or so, we'll do our racing roundup with all the action from last weekend, and there was some action this past weekend, that's for sure. I want to thank our sponsors, Ron Miller Race Cars. Give him a call, 734-856-7223. Don't do it now, though, because he probably left his phone on, and it'll ring right now. Race cars, parts, safety, equipment, everything a racer needs. It's right there, Ron Miller Race Cars. Also, thanks to Oakshade Raceway. We're the fastest meet to race every Saturday night. And as I mentioned just a couple seconds ago, one of those events coming up. Is somebody calling you, Ron?
Nope, the dog's trying to get into my office.
Oh, okay. There's going to be an Australian Pursuit race for the Bombers, and we'll tell you who's sponsoring that and the money involved, as well as some extra money coming up for the Sportsmen a little bit later on in the show. That's at Oakshade this Saturday night, final night of racing for the year. Also, thanks to Kester Mowing. Give Kester Mowing a call for all your lawn landscaping needs, mowing, seeding, fertilizing, insect, weed control, and tree trimming. I just had the tree trimming done, and he needs help. He's got so much business from this advertising on the Hammer Down Racing Report that he needs help. He's hiring people. So if you're looking for a job, that you can work outside all day. Probably not the best time to be advertising for it since we're going into the colder season, but money's good. Steve Kessler, great guy, and he's also the champion, late model champion of Oakshade Raceway. So there you go. Give Steve a call, 419-466-3801. Tell him the Hammer Down Racing Report sent you. Also, thanks to Big D's in Clyde, Big D's Pizza, that is. Mention the Hammer Down Racing Report. You can save 10% off any order. We give away Big D's pizzas every week. That'll be coming up a little bit later for our How Many. I already said that. Give them a call, 419-547-1444. Also, thanks to Millstream Speedway. Work still continuing down there. No official announcement yet on this season, but it's not looking good. We're running out of time here. But definitely next season, 2021, that track is going to be ready for some racing. I talked briefly with Scott Warner this afternoon, and things sound very positive. So make sure to follow them on Twitter, Facebook, or millstreamspeedway.net. And finally, freeze frame photos for all your racetrack photos, whether on the track or in Victory Lane. For over 20 years of racing memories at Oakshade, Toledo, and other local tracks. He's got all kinds of older photos, as we had mentioned before. Those get shared every once in a while in that Oakshade Remembers group on Facebook. If you're not part of that, ask to be invited. No, approved. I don't know. I see little emails every once in a while. So-and-so asked to be in the group. That's Ron's thing. We'll make Ron in charge of that. They do photo shoots by appointment as well. 419-476-9978. Jerry, let's talk about what happened this past weekend.
All right, racing roundup from last weekend. We'll start with Toledo Speedway. Carson Hocevar, Steve Needles, and Caitlin Heitlinger were the winners of the 32nd running of the Glass City 200. Hocevar won the 100-lap ARCA CRA Super Series late model feature. Needles won the 100-lap Outlaw late model feature, while Heitlinger won the CRA Junior late model feature, leading all 25 laps. At Oakshade Raceway, Adam Lance won the Bomber Spectacular, picking up that big win in the MAGA lift. Rusty Schlenk won his 6th late model feature of the year at Oakshade. Brandon Gregory won his 6th Sportsman feature of the year, and Corey Gum won his 6th Compact feature of the year. Those guys...
starting to see a pattern there, Jerry.
Yeah, all three of them also, despite winning the most features in their classes, did not win the championship this year, which is pretty sad because those three cars obviously been very dominant all year. Moving on, Fremont Speedway. DJ Foose led all 30 laps of the 410 feature for his first feature win of the year. Paul Weaver won his 6th 305 feature, leading all 25 laps. Sean Valenti won his 4th dirt truck win of the year at Fremont. And Sandusky Speedway was in action with Clayton Oliver winning the championship night Renegade feature, but Dan Smith won the Renegade championship. J.D. Lawson was the Pure Stocks feature winner and won the championship by 19 points over Johnny Newman, who finished the race in second. Jaden McCall won in beginner stocks. Nevaeh Rusica was crowned champ. Scott Archer won in the modifieds, with Matt Marlowe getting the championship there. Eldora Speedway in action the last two nights. The Governor's Reign. Night one, Brent Marks held off Kerry Madsen to win on Tuesday night, picking up the $10,000 victory. And then last night for the $52,000 to win feature, David Gravel led every lap and won by just 0.098 of a second, less than a tenth of a second separated first and second. If you watch the screen behind me throughout the night, there's a couple pictures of just how close that victory was for David.
I was going to say, did you watch that race at all?
I followed it on Race Monitor. I didn't actually watch the live stream, but I did see highlights and all that. It's Eldora. I mean, no matter how you slice it, it's still Eldora.
Even without fans.
Yep, you got it. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series was in action. Kyle Strickler earned his first career Lucas Oil Late Model event Thursday night at I-80 Speedway, shaking off the demons after breaking at Eldora just prior to that for the Intercontinental Classic. The Lucas Oil Late Model Series point leader, Jimmy Owens, won Friday's preliminary 30-lap event at I-80. It was his 11th win of the season. Tim McCready passed Owens on lap 78 of Saturday night's Al Belt Custom Homes I-80 Nationals for his 6th win of the season and pocketed $30,000. Next up for the Lucas Oil Late Models, the 41st annual Jackson 100 at Brownstown Speedway in Indiana this Friday and Saturday. The Ollie's Bargain Outlet All-Star Circuit of Champions, Aaron Reitzel won his 8th All-Star victory at Williams Grove Speedway for the Jack Gunn Memorial on Friday night. Kyle Larson added another big win to his resume for 2020 on Saturday night at Lincoln Speedway. He led all 40 laps in the Dirt Classic to win $20,000. It was his 39th victory of the season. in sprint cars and late models. And more big news coming up. Looks like he has confirmed to be part of the Dirt Track World Championship next month as well. So we'll see how he does again in a late model. Let's see. It was his 30th in a wing sprint car and his 14th with the All-Stars. His victory for Larson. Next up for the All-Stars wrap up their season at Fremont Speedway for the Jim Ford Classic on October 9th, Friday, and Saturday, October 10th. The World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars were in action with Darren Pittman winning for his final ride in the Roth Motorsports number 83 at Lawton Speedway in Oklahoma. It's also where he started his career, and he has announced that he is retiring from full-time racing after the 25 years of racing he's done. He was originally going to finish out the season with Roth, but a week after that announcement, the two parties mutually agreed to part ways after the event. Logan Schuchart earned the win Saturday night at Devil's Bowl Speedway and picked up $20,000 for his efforts. Next up for the Outlaws, Plymouth Speedway in Indiana tonight. Then it's off to Wayne County on Friday here in Ohio, in Orrville, Ohio, and the Commonwealth Clash at Lernerville Speedway in Pennsylvania on Saturday. In the ARCA Menard Series, 17-year-old Sam Mayer racked up yet another win Thursday at Bristol Motor Speedway. Ty Gibbs picked up the win on Saturday at Winchester. Next up for the ARCA Series is Memphis International Raceway this Saturday on MAV TV at 6 p.m. Speaking of Sam Mayer, he's continuing to turn heads as he's heading over to NASCAR, picking up his first ever RV and Outdoors Truck Series win last Thursday at Bristol. Chase Briscoe won Friday's Xfinity race, with Kevin Harvick winning Saturday's Cup race at Bristol over Kyle Busch for his 9th win of the season. William Byron, Cole Custer, Ryan Blaney, and Matt DiBenedetto were eliminated from the playoffs. Next up for NASCAR, the Truck Series. The World of Westgate 200 at Las Vegas Friday night at 9 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. The Xfinity Series is also in action in Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Alsco 300 on Saturday at 7:30 in the evening on NBC Sports Network. Cup Series will race the South Point 400 at Las Vegas on Sunday at 7 p.m. on NBC Sports Network. There will be no spectators allowed in attendance for the NASCAR races at Las Vegas. And with that, that'll wrap up our racing roundup for this week.
It's a lot of racing.
It is.
Especially this late in the season.
It's better than the alternative. I'd
Yes,
rather get it late than never.
This is true. Steve Rowe should be joining us here very shortly, and we'll be talking to him again, running the go-karts up at Palmyra Speedway, and used to run a late model. And that's about all I know. What else do you know about Steve Rowe, Mr. Ron Miller?
Well, he drove race cars built by Ron Miller Race Cars, proven chassis. He was very competitive and raced around. He wasn't just an Oakshade regular. He ran quite a few races over at Hartford, and just a really good, steady racer. He retired. He had some health issues and went off racing the go-karts and has found some real success there. I guess he won the track championship. Last Friday, he won both of his heat races in the feature. So,
well, let's hear directly from him then.
Yeah,
Steve Rowe, how are you?
Doing good.
All right. So, I guess before we get started, tell us what you've accomplished up there at Palmyra. What have you been doing this year?
That was my first year at it, so just been running consistent. And
Now Friday, were those your first big wins, Steve, in the go-kart?
First feature win, yeah. It was first feature win. I won, I think, 3 heats before that. I've just been running consistent in the features. I made all the shows. And
how long you been running? How long you been running go-karts then, or was this just your first season in go-karts?
Just started this year.
Oh.
Now, are any of the other stock car racers from this area, are there any of them racing up there?
Yeah, some of the Harpers run. Kai runs once in a while. The 006, Rendell.
Rendell's, yeah.
They run once in a while.
What?
I think that's about it on them.
You raced late models for what? Probably 10 years, Steve?
I started in '93 and quit in '05.
Okay. So a little over 10 years. And you had some success there. Then some health issues kind of knocked you down for a while. How has the transition been from the late models to the go-karts? And is it just the fact that racing is racing, or have you had to relearn a lot of things?
Yeah, it's got to relearn driving. You know, there's no suspension on them, and it's basically a tire game. It's all, but just about all tire game.
And it's cheaper than late models.
Yeah, just a little bit.
How's it compare in the excitement level? I mean, you're out there in the open and right there on the ground. Your butt's dragging the ground.
Yeah, we're about an inch off the ground. I love it. I'm having a ball.
Okay. Any?
I don't know. I commend you for it, Steve, because I really appreciate being bolted in a race car with a lot of metal around me, and in the go-karts, man, I'm too fragile anymore. I don't think I could handle that.
Yeah, there's not a lot around you.
So how did you get into the go-kart? I mean, how did this come about where you started go-kart racing this year?
I went up there last year and just started watching towards the end of the year. And Jack Milkey and I started talking about it. So he bought one. So then, well, I decided I might as well get one too. So that was about it. You know, then we started working on them. I had Andrea, we got them up down in Fremont at Weaver Performance with Andrea. And she's helped me out a lot.
Now, there's different classes there. What class are you running up there?
I'm running a box stocks heavy, which means we got to run a Predator motor, like a Harbor Freight motor. But the only thing we can do to it is like take the governor out. We can take the fuel tank off and put a vacuum fuel pump on it. But other than that, we can't touch it. We can run a different clutch.
So really, the only thing you can do as far as setup is pretty much with tires then.
Yep. And our front ends are adjustable with caster and camber and stuff.
So what kind of adjustments do you do to the tires, or is that confidential information?
No, just wash them after each race, and got some tire prep we can put on them. During the week, I'll grind them.
Now, do you mess with tire pressures in those?
I haven't had to. Some guys do, but my car's been working pretty good. Like last week, it was on a rail.
How many competitors do you race against on average up there each week?
In my class, beginning of the year, we were having about 20 or so. And then it's kind of back down to where we're having right around 10, 12.
Okay, so you're not just racing against a couple other guys. You actually are beating a large group of people.
Yeah, it gets a little rough out there once in a while.
Well, I know John Bailey's put a lot of work into that track up there at Palmyra, and it's been a couple of years since I've been up there, so I haven't been up there since he widened it and made some more changes. But a lot of people are talking about it. It seems to be a pretty exciting place. Is there any more races this year scheduled? Do you know?
He's going to run, our championship night's tomorrow night, and then he's going to run all through October as long as we got the weather.
And the weather's been very cooperative this year, hasn't it?
Yep.
So is this go-kart thing, this is something you think you're going to stick around and do again next year, maybe next few years?
Yeah, I think so. Might be thinking about going to a different motor or something. I don't know yet. Haven't decided.
Moving up in class?
You talked about Jack Milkey racing quite a bit. He was kind of a crew chief for Roddy Schroyer and helped out Todd Schroyer back in the day. Is he still racing? And is there any chance of the Schroyers coming out?
Nah, Todd, what's his name? What's his name? Yeah. What's his name? Tedman races. Todd's son, Tedman, he races once in a while.
Uh-huh.
And his youngest one runs when they come up. But I don't think Roddy wants to. He says it's not his kind of racing.
He's probably like Ron and prefers that metal chassis around him.
Yes, sir.
He said it gets too rough. The only way you pass is you got to bump somebody, or it's not that way all the way. But
Have you had any bad crashes in the go-kart yet?
I haven't. No,
Okay.
I went through a couple good rides, but nothing. Yeah, I guess I did. I got my arm. She said got my arm ran over once. The car come up and visit me in my seat.
Let's go back and talk a little bit about your late model career. You raced 12 years, sounds like. Not just what other tracks other than Oakshade did you get to, and what kind of success did you have?
Let's see, ran Florence, Eldora, Hartford, Muskegum, Wayne County. We kind of bounced around for a while.
Did you?
You made it over to Attica a few times, didn't you?
Yeah, I forgot about Attica. Yep, Attica.
Millstream.
A favorite track?
Most fun is probably Eldora.
Okay. What's your best finish?
Seconds.
Couple seconds?
Yeah.
At Eldora?
No. I had one of the non-qualifier races at the World. I took a second in one of them.
So how did you get into racing then when you started doing the late model? Did you work your way up, or did you just start off in that 42 late model?
Just about jumped in.
Did Ron help you with that?
Yeah. Not the first couple cars, but he did. After that, I had all proven until I got out.
And were the provens the best?
Oh, come on.
Of course they were, Scott. What kind of question is that?
Just asking. So, any plans ever to get back into a full-size stock car, or are you done? Is that all behind you?
Nah, I'm done.
Okay.
It's too expensive anymore.
How about
it was bad enough back then, but now with the shocks and stuff they're running now, and what prices they're getting for chassis, it's just out of hand.
What kind of expenses are involved in running the go-kart week after week? I mean, what kind of maintenance do you do other than fuel? What else do you need to put money into if you're not breaking things?
As long as you don't break nothing. Now our tires will last a full summer.
Wow.
I got 2 sets. I won a set in a raffle, and then I bought 4 more, just all right sides. And they were like $250 for a pair with wheels and everything. So
same Harbor Freight engine all summer.
Yep.
Do you ever have to take those to the engine builder to get them refreshed? Does Harbor Freight refresh them?
Nah, I think they were about throwaways.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, we wish you luck next week. You said or actually tomorrow. You said it's championship night, right?
Yeah, tomorrow night.
And where are you at in the points?
I think I got it wrapped up for my class. So
you don't even have to show up.
Will they be starting the races straight up to the point leader at the front, or you're going to have to?
Don't know how they do it.
Well, good luck with it. However they work it out.
All right, Steve. Well, good luck on that. Thanks for giving us some time tonight, and hope to see you keep on racing, even if it's the go-karts. If you're having fun, it's all that matters.
That's what it's about.
Absolutely.
Our love to your wife, and hope to see you out at the track Saturday.
Yeah, I'll be out there too. So.
Very good. Thanks, Steve.
Right, see ya.
Thanks, Steve. Steve Rowe, once again, the heavy box stock class out at Palmyra Speedway up there between, is it Blissfield and Adrian?
Palmyra?
Yeah. I guess
just south of Adrian.
It's up there. It's just south of, on the south side of 223. Yeah.
You been in a go-kart before, Scott?
Not there. Like at the one you pay for like 3 laps. Actually, I have. There was a guy, Miller. Was it Paul Miller? Miller Time Racing. He had a track in his backyard, and they had the.
Was that Hillard?
No, it was a Paul, I believe. It was like over in Monclova.
Okay.
And it was a little dirt track, and he would have, it was like a $30 donation to be in it, and then actually race for money, and he had heat races and basically run like a short track deal. I think he had like 8 karts, so you didn't have to bring your own, and they were pretty fast. They were like unrestricted karts, so
Nice. I got a chance to race in the clone division up at over at Cridersville Speedway. A friend of mine, Mark Miller, who is a longtime racer and now part of safety crew. He races every Saturday at Cridersville and multiple classes. They're able to change plates and all that stuff. But real quick, I don't know if you got the update from Plymouth. Sheldon Hodenshield quick qualifier tonight with the Christopher Bell second quick, Brad Sweet third, James McFadden fourth, and Parker Price Miller your top 5 qualifiers so far at Plymouth Raceway tonight.
wait a minute, we forgot to do something there.
Oh,
there you go. Anytime there's breaking news, we need to.
Breaking news: 33 cars behind infraction at Plymouth Raceway tonight.
32
Sheldon
cars.
Hodenshield, quick time, 33 at Plymouth tonight. Donnie Schatz, 6th quick. David Gravel, your big winner at Eldora, is 11th quick. Very close, though. Hodenshield, 11.195 around Plymouth. 10th quick was 11.579, Craig Kinzer. So, I mean, it's within a half second, everybody.
So they got that 3-day weekend. They're the ones the 3-day weekend. Tomorrow night at Wayne County, and then Lernerville Saturday, I believe it was. Yeah,
big money in Lernerville. That should be an interesting race down there.
Seasons are wrapping up here for all these different series. It's been a weird year, that's for sure.
It really has.
So we're
Scott,
going to
we need to get a hold of Scott Warner while I'm thinking of it, and see if he could organize something. See if he could do something like a little get together and do a track walk and meet the promoter. It just keeps looking more and more like the health department's not going to let anything happen down there. It'd just be great if he could meet with some people and let them bounce some questions off of him.
or maybe we could get him,
let the fans know, the racers know that he's real.
Well, and maybe we could get him to join us live from down at the track.
We could do that. It'd be neat if we could do a track walk where people
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
walk a lap at the track.
Or if not, maybe we'll just do a special one-off episode or something, and just kind of a one-off.
Maybe he could do the track walk, and we could
Send us the video.
We could video it on our show.
There you go. We'll figure something out. Some racing news here before we bring in Matt Swander. He's going to join us, our official Hammer Down Racing Report correspondent. Going to step in and join the discussion on some of the actions that happened on the track last week, and we'll talk more about that momentarily. Before we do that, after more than a decade of sanctioning winged sprint car competition, Must See Racing will head in a new direction next year. Must See Racing president Jim Hanks confirmed Saturday that the organization will undergo a transition, reformatting the Must See Sprint Car Racing Series, moving to a special event-only structure. No further events will be planned, and their awards banquet will not be held. The point fund money, I should say, will be mailed to the eligible car owners who supported all of the 2020 events. Anthony McCune was named the 2020 champion, edging out Jimmy McCune in the final tally. Both McCunes earned 345 points across the 4 races, but Anthony's 2 victories at Golden Sands over Jimmy's lone victory at Lorain County served as the difference maker. So, nephew coming out on top there. That's not going to sit well with Jimmy.
I talked with Jimmy McCune 2 days ago, I think, about what any inside information he would have, because Must See Racing's press release was kind of nebulous as far as what their plans were for 2021. And Jimmy said that the organization had been really tight-lipped. So even the racers don't know.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. At least you got the McCunes tied 1-2. Unfortunately for Jimmy, Anthony got that championship. So congratulations to him, though.
They still race out of the same shop, so it can't be too devastating.
No, but yeah, you never like it when you're the guy that's always on top to get knocked off your pedestal a little bit.
Then it can't be that bad if it's your nephew.
All right. Well, I guess it's kind of like you getting beat by your son at Sandusky.
Ouch.
That was sad. Ouch.
That was sad.
You were okay with it because it was your son.
That's right.
All right. Don O'Neill's returning to dirt late model competition after spending most of the season on the sidelines. O'Neill, who departed Clint Boyer Racing at the end of the 2019 season, will take over the driving duties of the number 71 Masters-built house car, effective immediately. The Masters-built house car was recently vacated by Don O'Neill's son, Hudson O'Neill, who amicably split from Masters-built in mid-July. The elder O'Neill will make his debut in the car this weekend during the Jackson 100 at Brownstown Speedway. So, old Don back in the late model. Cool. Longtime NASCAR team owner Bob Germain announced Monday night that he has sold his NASCAR Cup Series charter, with Germain Racing departing NASCAR at the end of the season. The Germain Racing charter has been acquired by, and you may have seen this news, this was pretty big news, there you go, NBA legend Michael Jordan and three-time Daytona 500 winner Denny Hamlin. There was rumors that Hamlin was going to be starting his own team, but I don't think anybody saw the Michael Jordan connection coming. But there was some rumblings that Bubba Wallace may be going to that team, and that appears to be the case. They're going to launch a single-car cup organization in 2021 with Bubba Wallace slated to drive for the new team, so that would explain why Bubba Wallace announced that he was departing Petty Racing.
Obviously, they'll be aligned with Toyota and some pretty healthy team owners. So, I
didn't know Michael Jordan was a racing fan. I know
yes, he is.
Brad Doherty was a big racing fan. He was a Cleveland Cavalier back in the day when I used to watch basketball, which was
he's a part team owner with the 47 team, Ricky Stenhouse,
and he does some of the. It's not color commentary, but does some stuff on TV for NBC, I guess we'll say, some studio stuff.
I have to believe that'll be a good ride, and
well, yeah,
they should come out of the box. They should come out of the box swinging, and
come out of the shoebox.
I believe that the expectation, yeah, I believe that the expectations on Bubba Wallace will be pretty high.
Yeah. I guess he won't have much of an excuse if he does not perform with.
Regardless of the expectations on Bubba, this is going to open bring a lot of new eyes to the sport of NASCAR.
Oh yeah,
not just basketball people, but sports people in general. Michael Jordan is still one of the biggest names in all of sports to this day.
He's a big draw, huge draw,
and been retired for how many years, and still basically the voice of the NBA.
Right. And he's got good shoes.
Yes.
Nike would be a good sponsor for this car.
Oh,
a good sponsor for the Hammer Down Race Report.
There you go. I'd do it in trade. Give me some shoes. We'll be good, Nike. But I guess Geico was the sponsor for Bob Germain there, the Germain Racing, and they had announced that they're leaving at the end of this season. So Geico will not be the sponsor on this new team. I didn't say who the new sponsor will be. It'll be interesting to see who they line up, though. But yeah, Michael Jordan. Pretty cool. Did you hear about the NTSB report on the plane crash? Dale Earnhardt Jr. last year, August 15, 2019.
Didn't see that.
Remember that plane crash? Everybody walked away, luckily, but they have released the report, and they have indicated that it was pilot error that led to that crash that involved all on board were Dale Earnhardt Jr., Amy Earnhardt, their daughter, their dog, and the two pilots. So everybody survived, though. A little bit shaken up. So I'm not sure what that report, if there'll be any repercussions of that. I'm guessing that Dale Jr. probably will not have that guy as a pilot anymore for any more flights. But other than that, I don't know what else there would be. Michael Wallace, you remember we talked last week, he was suspended indefinitely for some posts that he made, some political posts on social media, and he appealed that decision, and NASCAR denied it. So he is still indefinitely suspended. He has to go through some
sensitivity training.
Sensitivity training, yes. But I think he was kind of irked, and he kind of had a point, that Bubba Wallace is making some political posts. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, it's not the point. But he was making political posts, social media posts, and he did not get punished. So it's one of those. It's kind of like the whole coronavirus thing. Well, in Ohio they can go bowling, but we can't in Michigan. What's the deal? It's like, how come he can do it but we can't? And race, same thing with the racetracks. How come they can race but we can't? I don't know. What's the world coming to? Anyway, moving on. There's in happier news. There's talk about putting dirt down on Bristol Motor Speedway again. You remember back I think around the turn of the century they did that,
right?
World of Outlaws, and actually, crap.
There was a sprint car show and a late model show there.
Was it Sammy Swindell? I didn't put down who did it, but I just have what he set a new track record on the track, whoever it was.
I believe it was Sammy.
Yeah, from what I recall, 13.6 seconds. That's getting around that track.
That reminds me of something we forgot to announce during the racing roundup. David Gravel broke the 18-year-old track record at Eldora Speedway on Tuesday night. Craig Delancey held it with a 12.707 back in April of 2002. David Gravel ran 12.599 Tuesday night during qualifying.
That's scary fast, Jerry. It really is. That's scary fast.
12 and a half seconds around a half mile. That's,
Call in the mail. So it sounds like there's a possibility that they're going to do this with the intention of running a NASCAR race on it. Adam Stern, Speedway Motorsports, said Speedway Motorsports are looking into the possibility of doing that, putting down the dirt on Bristol and having the NASCAR. It didn't say if it'd be Cup or Xfinity or trucks, but either way, it'd be cool.
It was a very cool deal when they did it the last time. The reason they stopped doing it wasn't because they weren't getting enough fans. It was because it was actually hurting the track. I'm hoping that they figured out something different this time around so they could, if this does take off like it did last time, it turns into a regular thing.
Well, if Ron had his way, he would just say, let's go dirt permanently.
Dig up the pavement. Let's go at it.
There you go. That makes the track better.
Amen to that.
You don't have
Nothing that a pavement grinder can't cure.
You don't have to put down that traction compound that they do and all that stuff. Just track prep. All good.
Coke syrup. We're good.
Yeah.
There you go. How does that work on dirt?
That's fun to race on Coke syrup, Jerry.
I've heard that. I've seen it done. We go to the Rumble in Fort Wayne, and after the races, walk across the track and your shoes nearly come off. It's kind of amazing.
We ran that failed race over in Grand Rapids several years ago, and that was on Coke syrup. Actually, the Coke syrup facilitates the track taking rubber, and once that contact rubber, boy, it's game on.
Yes.
That would be kind of cool. I'd be worried of the ants, though. I'd be running over ants. That's just my thought. So last week's how many bombers were going to be at Oakshade Raceway, and immediately following this, we'll get into that discussion on some of the actions this past weekend at Oakshade. Speaking of the Bomber Spectacular, Jerry, he guessed 55, and there were 55 cars checked in.
Colin Schultz wins.
What?
55.
Numerology, Scott. Come on, dude.
I was like, he didn't win the race. It was
no, he didn't win the race, but he won for me on the how many.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense now. 55 together now. So congratulations to him. And our online winner who guessed correctly was Jenny Whaley. She guessed 55 exactly as well. So congratulations to her. She gets a Big D.
Congratulations.
Let's get with Dean Henry over there from Big D's, and we'll hook you up. The only issue is you got to go out to Clyde. They won't deliver quite out far this way to Toledo, unfortunately. Still working on that. We're in discussions. Negotiations are going on. So this week's how many? There is a fast show at Fremont this weekend. Fast 410 sprints are going to be there. How many 410s do you guys think are going to be there? This one I have no inside knowledge on, so I can't. I got nothing.
Who's pick? I won last week. It's you guys' turn to pick first this week.
All right, Ron, what's your pick?
32.
32. I'm surprised you don't go with 35. That's your favorite number. No comment there. Okay.
Of course it is.
If
I've been 35 for a lot of years, Scott.
Yeah. If you want to play online, go ahead and put your guess in the Facebook Live comments. If you put them in the comments on our YouTube Live, they're probably not going to be seen. So we appreciate you watching us over there. But at some point, come back over to the Facebook broadcast. It'll be up even after we're not live. And
The question again, Scott?
the question again is, how many Fast 410 sprint cars will be checked in at Fremont Speedway on Saturday night? And you have until, say, 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon to guess. So if you're listening to us on iHeartRadio or some other podcasting platform, you still have time. Just head on over to our Facebook page, find this video, and cover the screen so you don't have to look at our faces. Just go to the comments, type in your guess. You only get one guess. You type in your guess more than once or two different guesses, you're black flagged. So, and whoever guesses first gets credit for that. So like John Young's guess of 27 is he got outguessed by Jeff Kepling, who guessed 27 right before him. I don't know. We got to make a new rule now. Now, if he guesses again, he'll be black flagged, right? Yeah. That's the rules. Stop on the track, you go to the tail.
It's first come, first serve.
Need to pay attention before you jump in there, I guess.
And hope that somebody's not putting the same guess as you at the same time. So, I guess I'll guess next. I'll go with, since I'm looking at, I was also kind of killing time to see what other people were going to guess to get some insight here.
Weston Gearhart's black flagged. He just made a second guess.
Oh, yeah, he got black flag. You're out. Go to the pits. 27.
Come on, Scott.
I'm going to go with 27 because that seems to be a popular guess there.
I'm going one over you. I'm going 28. That was my number from the get for this. I just think the car count's going to be down a little bit with Lernerville running. Pennsylvania's still in action, so we'll see what happens.
Kathy? 28, she says.
Well, that's what Jerry just said.
Jerry said 28.
There you go. That's right. She's on a delay, so she wouldn't be able to hear that right
Yeah.
now.
Guess again, wife.
That's your secretary.
29.
29. All right. So there you go. We'll find out who gets that.
She was pulling a Scott Hammer. She was looking at all the numbers.
That was a good job. That's some good thinking there. Coming up in just a little bit, we have the weekend weather pit stop with Ryan Weekman from Channel 11, and I think you're going to like what he's got to report for us for racing coming up this weekend. Before we get to that, we're going to bring in the Oak Shade Raceway flag man, and I wonder if we should preface this at all with anything.
Yeah.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, gentlemen.
Well, I got to fix your name because you got one of those combined Facebook accounts, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. All right. So this past weekend at Oak Shade Raceway, there was a little bit of controversy, and I'm just going to be journalistic about it, state the facts that, and I'm not even going to report on the hearsay parts because there's a lot of talk going around, but we'll let some people share their opinions here in just a moment. But Saturday night, great race for the lead between the 8 of Adam Lance and our guest last week, Jordan Conover. Trading the lead, banging a little bit. It was a good race, and then Jordan.
No, it was a great race, Scott, and it wasn't just for the lead. There was great racing all the way through the field.
And about midway through the race.
It was lap 17.
17, so a little bit past halfway. We ran 25 laps. They were working through lap traffic, and he got turned around. Talking about Jordan Conover while racing side by side with Adam Lance for the lead. And that, of course, brought out the yellow flag. Conover had to go to the tail. The rule at Oak Shade Raceway is that, stop on the track, you go to the tail, no matter what the circumstances is. There's no gray areas about that. And the driver that got into the back of him was a lapped car, and he was disqualified, black flag from the race. And unfortunately, it took away from a great show that we had going on out front with Conover and Lance, because Conover had to try and work his way back up through the field. So, and apparently there was some speculation, I guess we could say, that this stemmed from an incident that happened the week before that I did not see until I talked to Chrissy at Oakshade at length this afternoon, kind of about things. She did not see the actual incident on Saturday as she was in the pit, but she sent a video, so I saw kind of what happened the week prior that may have precipitated this as a payback kind of thing. But I'll let that's pretty much the setup, and the facts are that really the only people that know what happened are the guys on the track.
Scott, let me preface everything. It's almost certain that what happened on the track was an intentional incident. And the problem with
allegedly, I want to avoid lawsuits here.
The problem with intentional incidents is that they almost always involve somebody who's really not involved.
Which has happened
to me.
Situation. That was something I talked to Chrissy about too, where there was somebody who got payback on someone else, and that caught me up in that incident, and I was not happy with the person getting the payback. So I mean, it just kind of snowballs. But yes, usually
those kind of things, I don't know.
It's not what you like to see in race. This isn't what we want to talk about. A controversy kind of like this, but
those kind of things almost always wind up involving somebody who is totally innocent, costing them a race, obviously costing money. And let's face it, Scott, Oakshade bombers are no longer bombers. They are truly race cars.
You've seen my car, though, haven't you?
With a lot of money in them.
You have.
I mean, just what you've spent on repairs this year would shock some people.
I guess it would.
I'm not shocked, but
speaking of shocks, I kept bending one quite a few weeks in a row there.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the subject at hand. I mean, there's some people that had a better view of it. Matt Swander from the flag stand, and Jerry was up in the tower, kind of watching things. Where I was a little preoccupied and kind of had my vision obscured from the turn one area. There's like a wall right beside the window there where you kind of have to look around it. And so I wasn't really paying attention at that point in time. But we'll let you guys go. And any opinions that you guys do share, we want to point out, are not that of the track or of necessarily of the Hammer Down Racing Report. So,
Matt, you had the closest view being on the stand. What did you see?
Like Scott said, I want to stress this is my opinion. This is not Hammer Down. This is not an official Oakshade opinion. This is Matt from the flag stand. I seen the offending car, the 62, throughout the whole race slowing down. Why?
Which he could have had a problem. It could have been a mechanical problem.
He could have had a problem.
I like to give the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
Even if the possibility is minute, it's still possible.
Yes.
Go ahead.
But I was watching both cars because there was pre-race talk, and I heard it from multiple sources that collaborated exactly word for word what happened previously. So I made a point of watching both cars because of the alleged threats that I believe to be true taking place. So I made sure to race control was aware of the situation also. I seen 62 slowing down, and I watched Jordan pass him on the front stretch coming out of 4. All of a sudden, 62 got into Jordan. My belief is it was intentional for retribution from the week before, where Jordan hit the hole in one, slid up, got into 62 during the feature the week before.
It was actually during
my feelings is
it was a heat race.
A heat race. I apologize. My feelings on the retaliation, heat of the moment retaliation, I can tolerate a little bit. I understand that a little bit. But a week later, knowing it's a big money show, I'm sorry. I think that was just out of line. And Pam dealt with it immediately. before I could even grab the black flag, because I was going to black flag him because it was that intentional in my eyes. She hollered at me on the radio, said, "Black flag him, get him off my track." So I did, and he acknowledged it right away, pulled off the track. Where do we go from here? I don't know. I haven't talked to Chrissy or Pam this week. I have my opinions on what should happen, but I'm an employee, so I will go with what they say.
I'm a fill-in guy, so I posted what I thought on Facebook. I caught a lot of flack for it from Mr. Reif and his team. So be it. I'm not going to pull any punches. I know what I saw. I know what I was told, not only from the Conovers, also from other people. You and I had a discussion with a third party that had nothing to do with it that told us the same thing, to expect retaliation.
Exactly.
In retrospect, Jerry, the incident from the previous week was well documented on a video that a lot of people saw this week. And quite honestly, what happened in turns 1 and 2 started almost 3/4 of a lap earlier.
Yes.
In that incident, the 62 car went into turn 3 and started to push, and Jordan drove underneath him like you would expect him to. They raced side by side down the front stretch, which put Jordan on the inside, and he hit the.
He hit the hole and shot up into 62.
Yep.
The previous week. That's what Ron was getting ready to say.
Yep. And if you watch the video, he shot up the track, and he didn't actually hit the 62. The 62 fails to avoid him and hits him.
Right.
Could the 62 have hit
the whole thing that happened the previous week, Jerry, was absolutely a racing incident. The video clearly shows that.
I agree 100%. Could Jordan have made a better decision? Maybe. But it's the last lap. They had just taken the white flag. Jordan was going for the win. His car shut off because of hitting that big hole down in 1. If that car doesn't shut off, his car continues to turn. He's able to keep from going so far up the track, and I think both of them come out completely unscathed. But even at that, like Matt said, heat of the moment, I get it. You know, if he punts him after the race is over, after that heat race is over even, okay, fine. They got to do some, but don't use a 3,200-pound car as a weapon a week later. Call the guy in the middle of the week. I'm going to tell you what, me and Tim Conover and the Conovers have never been on the same page. Only recently have we been able to talk and have constructive talks. These guys I have watched, even though we haven't always got along, I have watched them help so many people, so many other teams in the pit area. There is not a doubt in my mind that if Rich Reif would have came down to their pits or called them after that incident in the heat race, they would have done whatever they could to help him to have his car ready for Saturday night, so he wouldn't have been unable to keep up on during the spectacular feature.
I've gotten to know the Conovers fairly well this year, and Ricky Reif is a very good friend of mine, and I feel terrible that I'm in the middle of it. But what happened?
Wins. He's talented. He's obviously talented. The car's obviously fast.
Yeah.
But I just have this big problem with using the car as a weapon.
Hey, Jerry. We do this. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but we have the champions on from all the tracks each year. So we'll probably be talking to Rich.
I'm all for it.
We can get him on and get his side of the story at least.
I would love to. I'd love to have him on anytime, even if it's before then, after then. We can discuss this completely separately. I just, especially after, like me and Matt have said, you know, it would have been one thing if it just came from the Conovers or somebody from their team that they were told he was going to get retaliation, but it came from other parties and a very reliable third party that, I mean, I can't see how any other way that was pure retaliation after 17 laps of what could have been a tremendous finish to the Bomber Spectacular.
I would very much have liked to have seen Ricky up there battling.
I agree.
He's had a spectacular car this year, and he's a great driver. It would have been neat to see him as part of that rather than being somewhere mid-pack.
Not to take anything away from this guy behind me over my shoulder.
Oh,
Adam Lance,
absolutely
the
not.
previous week during that feature was fast when he dropped out. I told Jordan that I thought Lance had something for him. Me and Jordan kind of bickered about it, but it was what it was. And sure enough, those two were going to put on a show. It was going to be fun to watch, regardless of who won.
It was, and he was relentless. He was relentless with Conover. I mean, he was there.
Adam has been fast all year. Bad luck has relegated him to B mains and stuff all year, and it finally paid off all of his hard work all year.
Car number
8.
That's the car number.
Is that what it is? No, there's no S after that.
That's all right. Well, I was way after that, unfortunately. So, all right, can we move on now? I mean, obviously this is behind us, and I didn't want to have either Jordan or Rife on this week. Want to give time for things to settle down and kind of wait maybe a few weeks. We'll get somebody on it, and and by then they may not even care.
I have no disrespect towards either one of them. Anybody who straps behind the wheel of a race vehicle has my ultimate respect. It doesn't matter if you finish, if you're a feature winner, or if you're that guy that, just there every week and as a field fueler, you're still out there risking your well-being to have as much fun as you possibly can. And you have my respect. I don't, it's nothing personal, but I just, like I said, I think it was just handled the wrong way.
One last thing before I let you go, Matt. There was I saw somewhere where you apologized on it was a different call, same race though.
Yep.
Where you actually admitted you made a mistake, and that kind of it happens. You're human. You want to talk about that at all, or?
Oh yeah, not a problem. It was the 55 car, Colin Schill. He, looking at the video, I believe he got dumped. Or not necessarily dumped, but he got tagged in the rear end, spun around. When I looked up, I seen him sitting backwards in 1 and 2. I thought he was stopped. The whole field was coming at him, so I went caution. Me and Pam talked about it real quick, and we both agreed to stop. But looking at the video, I was wrong. He never come to a complete stop. And unfortunately, he went to the tail because he got charged with that caution because I made a mistake.
Technically, Matt, if he changed directions, if he spun backwards and then went forward, he had to have stopped.
I think we had a long conversation about this where at some point you spun around backwards and then you went forward. So there was but his was different. He did like a 360.
A nanosecond.
You spun around and did a 180, so you're facing the wrong way and we're rolling backwards, and then you started going forwards. So, and we talked about this at length, that at some point, from the point where you're going backwards to the point where you start going forwards, you have 0 miles an hour. But yeah, that was a different deal there.
That was 150 shows back, Scott.
Was it? I think that was even way before we did this show. Yeah. I still remember that incident because you were not happy about it. Anyways, so we'll see. Are you still employed? Your phone hasn't blown up? We're going to see you for the final show, Matt.
Yeah. I've gotten nothing. Honestly, you asked me to come on and talk about it, give my honest opinion, and that's what I did. Don't make assumptions. Just go with the most knowledge and put it all together, like Jerry said. And I plan on seeing you Saturday night, and in honor of the older generation that'll be racing, I'm going to break out the big flags for the last night.
Yes.
Matt, you're an awesome flag.
I'm not going to mention any names.
A whole lot of more Saturdays.
But right, I am disappointed in. Oh, Scott, hold on. I'm disappointed in you. I sent you that article today, and you didn't announce about it. I think that's big news for Indiana and dirt track racing. Indiana goes to a Phase 5 Saturday. Therefore, raceway events can open up full capacity, according to Governor Holcomb. So that means Kalamazoo Clash, there'll be about 250 cars and a whole lot of fans. But yeah, come Saturday, we go to Phase 5. You still have to have the mask, but they can open up full capacity. So that should be exciting.
That's all across the state?
Yes, sir. That come right from our
Okay.
governor. I think it was Wednesday. But
All right. Well, you must be doing good over there in Indiana.
well,
Congratulations
Depends
on doing a good job, Matt.
all right, gentlemen. You have a great night, and I'll see you all Saturday evening.
All right.
Yes,
Bye,
you
Matt.
will.
Good, Matt.
Bye.
There you go. Matt Swanner, flagman at Oakshade Raceway. And again, his opinions are strictly his. They don't represent Oakshade or this show. Jerry, I don't know. He kind of represents the show sometimes, but sometimes not. But he's
Hey, my mask even has the Hammer Down Race Report logo on it.
That's
So I
true.
got you.
everybody has their own opinions, and that's fine. It's all good. Everybody, whatever. Moving on.
Yes, let's do that. Let's move on.
Yeah,
Be beyond it.
we're about done. We still have the weekend weather pit stop here. We'll talk about these shows coming up this weekend if you want to watch some racing. If you want to see an old man topless, I don't know.
Woohoo,
If that's a good way to sell a show. Ron Miller is going to be topless this weekend at Oakshade Raceway.
Our viewership just dropped.
Or it went way up. I don't know.
Here. Just a little preview.
Oh, just a little preview. Thank you, Ron.
Topless late models. That means they're going to be driving the convertibles. No roofs on that. How big a difference aero-wise does it make?
Scott, it tends to tighten the cars up a little bit. You'll see guys making adjustments after hot laps. The temperatures are cooler. The track's going to be different. So
all the heat you have when you have the heat on in the car is going to go right into space.
yeah. It'll need that oval track vortex.
Yeah, well, okay. Hopefully it keeps you warm. They're featuring the topless late models for the final show at Oakshade Raceway. Sportsmen are going to be racing for an added purse, and I got to go to my text messages here to get the latest tally on that because it's been going up all day. So Kester Mowing is the most recent to add to that total here. Sportsman purse for Saturday night, it will now be $700 to win. $400 for second, $310 for third, $240 for fourth, and $75 to start. So
I'm thinking maybe I'm going to put some narrow tires on my late model.
There you go. And for the Bombers also in action as well as the compacts. The Bombers are
That's
going
where
to have
this gets good.
a Dipman Motorsports Australian Pursuit race that's going to pay more than the Bomber A main feature. So, and I'm guessing they're still having a feature. I didn't get all the details on this afternoon, but it's going to pay $200 to win plus a Hoosier tire from Dipman Motorsports, $100 for second, and $50 for third. So I asked who's going to be in this race because usually we have 40, 50 Bombers. Was it going to be the top 10 in points? How are they going to do that? The response I got was not necessarily.
To be determined.
Top two in the heats. If we have 4 heats, we'll take 2 from points. So it sounds like we're going to start 10 cars and top 2 from the heats. So I'm not sure. I don't think this is replacing the A main. This, I believe, is an addition to
this is an addition to.
So it could be interesting. The A main may lose some cars depending on if they do this before or after the A main. But a lot of money there for the final night. Thanks to sponsors stepping up there and helping things out. So that's pretty cool. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission $14 to see all the craziness. Maybe points. Pam says maybe points. So it may change, but either way, the money's there for whoever's going to be in it. Thanks to the sponsors for that. There'll be a post shortly on Oakshade Raceway for that, oakshaderaceway.com. Fremont Speedway, they're in action with Union Trades Night. Fremont's usually done by this time of year, aren't they? But since the pandemic and they started later than everybody, they're going later into the season. They still have the Jim Ford Classic coming up in a week from this weekend, I believe it is. But this weekend, Saturday night, Fast 410 sprints, the Boss non-wing sprints, and 305 sprints all in action. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission is $18, at Fremont Speedway. And looking ahead to next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend, October 3rd, Sandusky Speedway is going to be having their 2020 Budweiser Cavalcade. Actually, that is Saturday and Sunday. featuring modifieds, Midwest Compact Series, street stocks, renegades, pure stocks, beginner stocks, CRS Truck Series. So a pretty big deal there for that Sunday show next weekend, Saturday, October 3rd and 4th at Sandusky Speedway. And Toledo Speedway will have their final race of the year on Sunday, October 4th. With the Raleigh Beal Classic featuring the USAC Silver Crown Series, ARCA Late Model Sportsman, Factory Stocks, Street Stocks, and the Figure Eights. That's going to be a Sunday afternoon event with racing at 2 o'clock. And I believe the group from Hammerdown is going to be out there checking things out.
I've heard those rumors.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Looking forward to that. That would be pretty cool. Next week, speaking of Flat Rock and Toledo Speedway, we weren't really talking about Flat Rock, but we'll throw that in there. Gary Lindahl will be our guest. We finally got him nailed down to be on the show next week. The longtime announcer up there at Toledo and Flat Rock Speedways. I believe he's also done Spartan Speedway and probably some other places that we'll learn about. And I'm sure he's got lots of stories, because I remember going and watching the races when I was still in high school and he was announcing. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, we talked earlier about the finish at Eldora, right there over my shoulder. That's what less than a tenth of a second looks like.
All right.
At 140 miles an hour.
Yes. Coming up just short. Kyle Larson almost picking up another huge payday. David Gravel picking up the win.
All right, let's check out that weekend weather pit stop. I think you're going to like the way this one sounds, guys.
Unless you're racing Sunday.
Here is your weekend weather pit stop forecast. I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman. Only races we have on the schedule here are Saturday evening, Oakshade and Fremont. And what an evening this is going to be. We're going to hold on to summer one last evening just in time for your Saturday night. Temperatures will be in the low 80s near flag drop and only holding in the 70s for much of the evening. A very warm, unusually warm late September evening for Saturday. For WTOL 11, I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman.
It's your meteorologist.
Yeah.
Yeah. There. Well, he's going home now.
His picture always cracks me up. It looks like he put out a Christmas album.
It doesn't. And I guess last time I checked, I got that from his Facebook page.
That's awesome.
That's what he had his profile picture as. So, yes, he's styling and profiling there. Ryan Weekman, great guy. We had him on one time. We had him in the studio with Rusty Schlenk back when we were actually in the studio, and that was an interesting conversation.
Yep, I remember that one.
If you ever have a chance, go back into the archives and find that one. We learn a lot about weather and racing and how they tie together, and that if you build a big wall, that some people believe it stops tornadoes and the racing vortex. He didn't believe the racing vortex thing. He's like, that's a bunch of bull. And I think we convinced him that it's real. I don't know.
Real.
Yeah.
Daryl Waltrip taught me that.
Yeah, exactly. So, next week we will be back in action, 7 o'clock, Saturday night. I'll be in that Saturday night.
Thursday.
Okay, yeah. Next Thursday we'll be back here for the Hammerdown Racing Report with, again, Gary Lindahl, longtime voice of Oakshade Raceway. Longtime voice of Flat Rock and Toledo Speedways. And I'm sure we'll probably talk a little bit about the Raleigh Beal Classic coming up as well. And then coming up in the next few weeks, we'll start putting together our championship shows featuring the Attica Raceway champions, the Oakshade champions, the Fremont champions once they get done. Are they done? They still have points? I haven't looked.
Attica?
Or Fremont.
Fremont.
I believe they crowned their champions last weekend.
All right, that's what I thought.
Their final points weekend is a week from now, with a 2-day show. Friday wraps up their points, and then Saturday.
Okay, so they do still have
special race
points, so they have not crowned their champions.
I can tell you on the 10th that one of us three is going to be driving the 911 truck,
and it's not Jerry, and it's not me.
I've had the most experience in a truck.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Why did they pick Ron over you?
I don't know.
Have you driven
It's just not fair, Jerry.
Have you driven a dirt truck before, Ron?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd build them.
Little light on the rear end, but
Okay.
We've got technology in this truck that your little four-banger just didn't have, Jerry.
I've heard that. I heard I need to possibly see a new car builder for 2021.
Well, and we've got a new truck coming. I believe a new 911 truck coming for 2021. So we'll see how
Very
that
cool.
plays out.
What's happening to the current 911 truck?
Oh, it'll still be there.
Oh,
Mark, the truck owner, loves that truck, but yeah, it appears as though they're opening up the rules to allow some little newer vintage trucks. Most of the trucks that the guys are using, you could put historic vehicle tags on. So they're trying to upgrade the class, and we've been talking with the tech officials at Fremont, and hopefully that rules package will be out pretty soon, and we can start building something really exciting.
all right. Cool.
Sounds
Don't forget to go nominate the Hammer Down Racing Report. Even if you don't think we're the best podcast in Toledo, it doesn't matter. Just go do it anyways. We'll have that post pinned on our Facebook page as soon as you close out of here. Yes, Scott does want it for next year. Scott will take anything other than his current car for next year. Just doesn't know. Thanks, Dean. No, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, the Best of Toledo City paper deal. Click on that. It'll take you right to the page where you can nominate us. You got to scroll down, find the podcast category, type in Hammer Down Racing Report. 4 words. That's all you got to do. That's all we have. We don't ask for very much. And thanks again.
And really, you won't even be compromising yourself because you're just nominating us. When we ask you to vote for us, when we ask you to vote for us for the best podcast, then we'll ask you to compromise yourself.
Daily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
hourly.
We're just trying to make the ballot at this point. So, and we have until October 18th. And if you already did it, thank you again, and get your friends to do it as well. And make sure you support the sponsors that support us, that make it so we can do this each and every week. These guys scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
That first one especially. Charlie at Freeze Frame Photos. Awesome.
All our sponsors are great and involved in motorsports pretty heavily. Ron Miller Race Cars, he's got race cars in his name. So
yeah,
true.
Big D's Pizza, he's got pizza in his name.
He does, and racers like pizza.
And Dean and I were talking earlier about possibly a new addition to the menu at Big D's Pizza. Keep your eyes open for that.
You know, there's a couple of really nice storefronts that are for lease up here in the Lambertville area, and boy, I would sure like to see
a Big D's.
I would like to see a Big D's Pizza. Also,
Oakshade Raceway, thank them for supporting us as well as Kester Mowing. Again, give Steve a call. He's hiring. He's looking for somebody who wants to work. Basically, if you're a body, you don't even need special skills, I don't think. Just give Steve a call.
You just need to show up every day.
He's looking for someone reliable. 419-466-3801. Mill Street Speedway, thanks to them for supporting us. They've been supporting us most of the summer as well. And again, Freeze Frame Photos. Give Charlie or any of them, the whole family, a call. 419-476-9978. So that's it for this edition of the Hammer Down Race Report. Thanks for tuning in. And again, we'll be back next week with Gary Lindahl.
Yay.
Not the longtime voice of Oakshade, but the longtime voice of Flat Rock and Toledo Speedway.
It's going to be a lot of voices.
All the others.
Yeah.
A lot of what?
It's going to be a lot of voices next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've done some announcing.
Okay. Goodbye. We're leaving now.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.